Interesting. Let's try this. Ancestry. Yeah, I'll have to look into that more. I'm not familiar, but I don't see an easy way to slap it in there.
Okay, it's fine.
Yeah. All right. So, where we last left off, you all learned the premise of the campaign in that you are all replicas of people that died shortly after the end of the Demon War, and it's roughly about 1,000 years after the anniversary of said event. You were taking a downtime week while the others looked into the events going on in the world outside to see what else you could do to help remedy the ongoing situation and to deal with that information you learned. Tomas fucked off, and at this point in time, Mika is nowhere to be found as well. The second you ask Nara, she immediately tells you that Tomas is in the elf village pouting. So it's not really a mystery, they're just over there doing their thing at the moment. What's up?
Oh, nothing. I was just like, oh, that's fair. I guess Tomas probably just needs a bit of space after everything. Just, in character, so.
Yep. I believe that you guys, we already handled most of the mechanical stuff of your downtime, save for the mission selection and prep, which we'll do. Excuse me, during the individual sessions next week and the week after, depending on what team you all are on. But I believe that the first thing that we wanted to do as a part of this session was to go pick up 2 more cats based on the condition of the truce that you guys are still currently in compliance with.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it'll be around like day 4 or 5, I think, where Lana's just kind of approaching Nara and being like, would it be okay if we went to go pick up the siblings now that everything's calmed down?
That should be fine enough, as long as the ethos is true to his word. We shouldn't have too much of an issue.
Lana just kind of blinks a little bit in surprise, and I was like, wait, really? And just take him into the observatory that easy? Yeah, I kind of came in here ready for a fight, honestly.
Well, you're not asking me to pull an entire city into the observatory like Tomas is. It's a bit more reasonable. We already have a decent enough following here, and I've been preparing for more. So 2 more extra heads won't hurt for the time being.
Oh, well, good, great. Well, I'm kind of at a loss for words now, because that got handled easier than I was expecting. Thank you, Nara. Let me know whenever we're around.
If you're good to go, I can make the preparation.
Anytime.
And we can be there in about half an hour.
Yeah, I'm ready to go anytime. It's not like we're going for a fight or anything, so yeah.
Hopefully that's the case. And she starts making the adjustments.
I'm gonna go ask around and see who wants to come. Okay, until then.
She just gives you a nod as she sets to work.
Lana steps outside the observatory. She kind of glances over at Wolf's door and just kind of gets do not disturb vibes from it.
Yeah.
She knows Mika's out. So she just kind of pulls a gold piece out of her pocket and just kind of flips it up in the air. And she goes to see, like, in an open area where Reese is, if he's around.
Reese has been training all week.
Oh yeah, so she goes to hit up the training fields.
Yep,
Or the
Reese is
training
there.
room. They probably have like
sweating.
they probably have like a situation room now where they just like
Situation
train.
room. Just like a soundproof room full of dummies.
Yeah.
They have a gym.
Yeah, they do. So she'll just kind of make her way in and be like, "Ah, well, hey Reese, I got some good news.
Yeah?
I talked to Nara, and she is okay with us going to pick up my siblings. So we'll be there in a half an hour. Surprise!
Okay. Reese cast prestidigitation on himself. Excuse me while I tidy up.
I mean, I was expecting it to be like a whole ordeal, and you know, I guess it was kind of presumptuous of me. I thought it would take like another day at least, but I mean, I guess we're just going.
Sounds like Nara.
It does.
Well, good. It's not just me that's going with you, right?
The only other one I've seen that's around right now is Reeves. I mean, Wolf's in his room, but I'm getting bad juju from that door. I don't want to knock on it.
He's beating the crap out of me for days. Whatever. I'm not the best bodyguard, but I've been working out.
Well, we fought together before, Reese. So I think that anything that proves dangerous, like I'd be surprised if we found something we couldn't handle just going to pick up a brother and a sister.
I can still definitely set things on fire, so I guess that's a plus.
I really hope that's not necessary, but you're not wrong.
Well, I'm in. He's gonna grab his coat and drape the scarf he was practicing with around his shoulders and say, "Shall we?"
All right. I'm gonna go ask Reeves, and then in about 20 minutes, we'll be good to go.
Great.
Okay, and she's just gonna kind of scurry away and poke her head into Reeves' workshop, see whatever he's getting up to.
Do you knock or you just like poke your head in?
No, she just opens the door.
Okay. Reeves is at his workstation. He's like just working on his crossbow. He looks over towards you. Is like, oh, hey, Lana. Sticking out of his head is his dagger.
Reeves?
Yes.
You got it, a little right up here.
What?
Lana's gonna kind of carefully make her way forward and just kind of like tap the dagger and be like, Reeves!
Oh, right.
Has more of Lynn's training?
Yes.
Okay. Is he just gonna leave the like, has he done anything with the dagger yet? It's just sitting there.
It's just sitting there. It's like, it's sitting there like right at the spot for like, like just like hilt out, blade in. It's like it's like a unicorn horn.
Okay.
This is
So-
ridiculous.
So Lana just kind of was like, well, I wanted to ask you if you wanted to take a little trip in about 20 minutes.
Oh, we pick up your brother and sister.
Yeah.
Sure. I'd be down coming along.
Okay, good. You might want to take the the knife out of your head before we go?
He like looks at you for a long moment, cants his head from side to side. It's like, yeah, it'd be probably a very weird first impression if they, see a goblin with a knife sticking out of its head.
Slightly. I'm sorry. I just watched the best game of all time. Oh.
Wow. And here I thought I was legitimately funny.
No, I mean, it is. I need to share this with the world. Oh no.
Oh god.
Okay. I'm downloading this and I'm gonna put in a critic. Anyway, yeah. So she'll just kind of like so Lana's just gonna look at you like, do you need any help getting that out?
Oh no,
Or-
it's just a skeleton key, Lana. And then the blade like disappears instantly, and then it reappears in his hand.
How does Reeves' head look after he does this?
How does Reeves' head look when he does this?
Skeleton pulling the dagger that way does not undo wounds.
There's just like this gash there.
Lana will just kind of like wince a little and reach out and like put her hand on Reeves' head and fucking Vital Font pump 4d8 of health back into him to
That's probably
close that.
enough. Unless Reeves is sneak attacking himself, I think that's fine.
No, he's not. Oh, thank you, Lana.
Yeah.
Amy said that I reached my weekly allowance of bandages.
Well, I've got a couple for today. I'm just gonna put this in the general chat for this Discord too. I put it in the critic corner, but you all just need to see this. I can't.
Baby.
Baby. Why are cats so dumb?
Sorry.
Cats are very stupid. Walnut brain.
Okay. All right.
Goodness.
Oh, baby. Okay, so Reeves' head healed. She'll just kind of let out a little sigh and she'll be like, okay, you'll be ready to go in about 20 minutes then?
I should be able. How is the pickup being arranged? We are picking up like soon-to-be former initiates.
I don't know. We made peace, so I'm assuming we'll just be able to go talk to them. But honestly, I haven't really been thinking about it. It's kind of got me a little freaked out. So I guess we'll just see when we get there.
Winging it, love it.
Okay, 20 by the observatory door, and we'll see what happens.
Sounds good, Lana. See you there.
Okay, and Lana will step out, and she'll kind of like wander aimlessly around the lobby as though she still has prep work to do, and then she'll just kind of realize that she doesn't do anything, and so she'll just kind of sit there and wait for the clock to tormently just kind of tick by for another 20 minutes.
Reese probably shows up about 5 minutes into this and just watches. Like
Lana's
leaning
very
against a door frame.
Reeves appears behind. Reese is like, what is she doing?
Trying to make time go faster, I think.
It's not working
I know, dude.
at all.
Well, of course it isn't. Cornelius lost a stopwatch.
Mm.
All right. Anything else you guys want to do before the tower appears at its destination?
Not really.
Mm-mm.
All right. So, after a short bit of waiting, though it feels much longer to Lana than to the other two, the tower shifts as you guys are very familiar with at this point, and you hear Nara's voice call out that you guys have arrived outside of Causbury.
Well, at least we'll get to see what all the hubbub's about in this place.
Sure will.
And hopefully not get decapitated.
Yeah.
Lana will kind of step forward and kind of put her hand in the observatory door, and it's like,
Okay, I'm kind of freaking out a little bit here.
Reese is going to gently put his hands on Lana's shoulders and then shove her forward.
she'll
Out
just
we
kinda
go!
Okay, I'm outside.
Alright. As you guys are heading out, you see that you're still a pretty decent distance away from Causbury, unsurprising considering Nara still doesn't really want to reveal the tower's location to anyone. But with a short bit of walking, you eventually find yourselves approaching Causbury, and you can start to see some guards posted at the gates in the distance. Unsurprisingly, they are Silver Order Knights.
So Lana has one more spiel she wants to go on while they're in transit. It's just as she just kind of lets her nerves out a little bit, and she goes,
You guys remember back when we first met in Millstone?
Yes.
Well, we all met back in that tavern, and I don't think it'll. Like, I mean, I know you guys all know that I didn't burn that letter, but the first thing I ever did when I walked into town was walk up to Colt and a couple of guards and let them know as I'm out of town and here on work. I think back to that a lot. That one in particular,
Uh-huh.
Why?
because it's just because the last time they saw me was like a week before that, and I don't know, everything is just so crazy and everything's so different now. I don't.
Did you write to them? Did you let them know you were leaving?
Well, of course I let them know I was leaving, but
Okay.
like, I mean, with everything that's happened, I haven't thought to write, so I just, I don't know.
Lana.
It's just,
Lana,
yeah.
despite everything, you're still you.
Don't you fucking Undertale me.
That is actually really profound, Reeves. I like that.
Isn't that the same advice everybody's been giving me?
Kinda, but
Unique circumstances.
I guess it just has like a different. I guess it just hits different. Cause I don't know.
I think if
Growing
that
up-
Lana met
Hmm?
you, that Lana from back before Millstone met you, you know that look you give things that you idolize, Lana? Your eyes get a little shimmery. You kind of put your hands together in front of your face. I think that's what
Yeah.
you'd look. That would be you looking at yourself.
Maybe.
Holy-
Yeah, you're probably right. I just.
I mean, for all the screaming you did about justice and whatnot back then, you are making good on that.
I want you to know, Lana still does that. She still has semantic components for every key strike. she still yells out her moves like she's a Tales of character. I just got tired of doing it.
It's valid.
Yeah. So as she hears that, she's just gonna go.
Yeah, you're right. It's really crazy to think. I remember when we were kids. Well, when we were kids, like I don't know. I always felt a little different. Like I didn't really pick up on things the way that they did. I was always kind of a step behind, a day late, and I don't know. Here we are at the gates, and reflecting on it now, everything's just been crazy. Circumstances behind our reuniting or no.
Did they used to play tricks on you? Prank you?
I mean, yeah, and they were a lot better at it than I was. I mean, we were all having fun back then. We were all good kids, but
Oh boy.
like, I mean, like I tried real hard, but I was never real great at the whole scheming thing. I tended to, kind of let them know what I was doing a little bit ahead of time and that kind of deal.
But Lana, you said, but according to you, you were such the troublemaker back then.
I mean, did I ever tell you how I met Master Shen?
Just because she's not sneaky doesn't mean she doesn't get into trouble.
I met the Master when I snuck out of the house at night and made my way up into the mountains and kind of got lost for like a couple of days.
So you didn't make trouble, you just got into trouble.
Yeah, pretty much. I didn't make it, but yeah, I was just...
Well, technically speaking, you made trouble for yourself. So
Yeah.
I guess that applies.
That's a good way of phrasing it, yeah.
I'm not sure if it should be a compliment or not, but feel free to take it how you will.
No, I get it, I get it. And I know we've been through a lot, and I know I've grown a lot, but sometimes it's just hard to figure out how a dumb kid like me got as far as I did. I mean, I guess I have you guys to thank for it, really.
Reese is like, well, look where I started at the beginning of this. I started on the floor.
That's right, you were kind of in a happy place when we met in Millstone.
I
and
was
not like until you were...
fucking smashed.
I think...
I'm not sure if that qualifies as happy, Lana.
No,
At that time it did.
I remember now. I remember when we met, and Wolf Puppy said, he looked at me and he said,
Hey, there's someone there.
and you said, is she pretty?
Mm.
And then that was when you came to say hi to me.
Reese is
I
wincing
remember
right now.
that.
Reeves is barely containing back of shit-eating grin.
Reese is like, is that how that went?
That's definitely how that went.
I vaguely remember that.
You know, maybe I don't miss those days.
Nor do I, actually. I'm pretty happy with how I am now.
I wouldn't say I'm happy with how I am now, but it's definitely better than that. Wow, okay. No offense. You're lovely.
No, I know, it's just, things are different now. Trust me, I get it. I find it funny, that's all.
Cool, are we almost at the gates?
Yeah, we're almost there.
Are we there yet? Please tell me we're there yet.
Yeah. I wanted that bit of Lana-ness out there before we got into town, just to, have
It was
people in.
cute. I forgot Reese initially approached because he wanted to hit on Lana. Oh god!
That's how Reese approached most characters initially.
That's bad. But still, he's quietly like, oh no, no.
Oh god. Oh.
That's growth.
It's like you're like a sister to me. Don't tell me that.
They kind of are now, actually.
Yeah.
They had a little scene where Reese is like, "Can I be your brother?" And it's like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah."
Soft. Yeah, that's partially why he's sitting here like, ooh, cringe.
But so they approach the gates.
All right. So, as you're approaching, you see two of the Silver Order Knights standing at attention with halberds at their sides, each one having their halberd inward towards the gate. And you can see that several more are watching you from the ramparts with bows. Not like aimed at you, but like held in front of them at the ready in case they're needed.
Reese is gonna wiggle his fingers at one of the guards and be like, hi! Hope you're still honoring that truce.
Hi. Hello.
Hello, citizens. Do you have business here?
Yes, we have a couple of individuals that we're here to pick up.
One moment. And there's a brief pause. He doesn't turn or call out to anybody. But after a second, he turns his attention back to you. Yes, it seems that you have two conscripts that were offered exemptions from the process. Follow me inside. I'll take you to the regiment grounds where you can retrieve them.
Thank you.
And with a quick nod, he starts leading you through the streets of Cosbury.
Okay, so while they're walking through the streets, Lana's like giving herself one last look over, like, are my gauntlets shiny? Is Dawnblade secured? Is like my
Am I
plate
cool?
good? Am I cool?
Reese will cast Prestidigitation on her at least 3 times, like, as she does this.
I think there's a little. It didn't quite hit the. Okay.
Yeah, she's just anxiously fidgeting.
Reeves will
Yeah.
offer a big goblin grin and a big thumbs up.
As you're traveling through Cosbury, you're surprised how normal a lot of it is. Though you can hear the sounds of drills in the distance. It isn't as busy as the last time you guys were through it, but you can still see people going about their days, going
Like
through people.
Oh.
It looks like at least a number of the businesses are still open. It seems like some of the more luxury ones have been closed down, but all of the general stuff like the bakers, the butchers, the clothiers, the tanners, carpenters, anything like that that's keeping the city up, they're still going around and doing work unhindered. But a little less busy than previously saw before, so maybe half to a third of the population still going about and doing business as normal.
Hey, Mr. Knight.
Yes.
How much activity is there around here, from the demons?
This point is one of the safer areas in the region. Most of the assaults coming out of the Elven lands in southern Brescia are headed off by Chinny. And the other city to the southwest that he actually names, but Matt forgot and didn't put it on the map. And there's very little that comes out of the Hearthlands directly. Thus, it's a suitable location for us to handle a large number of recruits.
Yeah, Lana's just kind of looking around and it's like,
Ethos might have actually kind of had a point. Look at how normal everything is.
Well, if you can call some aspects of this normal.
I know. But like compared to what it could be,
All right. So, they take you through the winding streets of the city. And as you get closer to the center of town, you can see that the town square has been retrofitted and most of the temporary stalls set up there have been moved away. And a makeshift barracks has been set up overlooking the expansive fields where you can see hundreds of humans and half-elves, halflings, all going about various training regiments under the instruction of the Silver Order Knights. As you get closer, you see you see the one leading you make a gesture towards one of the other recruits who calls out a command for the conscripts that they are training to go at rest. And then you hear their voice call out. Conscripts Jenna and Julian. I need a word with you in the office. And after looking at each other, and some of the others looking at them for a moment, they stand back to attention and follow their trainee towards the office at the head of the field where you are being escorted as well.
Lana just kind of snaps her head in their direction.
Yep. They appear to be a little out of breath, having just finished exercises, and considering that you all grew up as farmers, they look a little more well-defined muscle-wise and fitness. So they've been being put through their paces a bit more than usual, but otherwise they still appear to be healthy.
Okay. Cool.
So, each of those groups head towards the barracks, and after a few moments, you both head inside. And as you enter, you can hear a discussion being held by the other instructor. Conscripts, we thank you for the service that you have shown thus far to Brescia, but you are being transferred to allies of ours for the time being, who are assisting us against the incoming incursion in different ways and have requested your assistance. As such, you will be relieved of your duty of conscription henceforward, and you are to assist them to the best of your duties until the incursion has been completed and the call to return home has been made. Is that understood? And they both respond with a yes and a salute. And as you guys are entering through the door, you hear them say, "These are the individuals that you will be transferred to. If you have any questions about your new assignments, be sure to ask them. I'm sure they'll be able to answer your questions. I have others to attend to." And as the man dismisses himself to the other guard that entered, Julian and Jenna turn to see who they're being assigned to, a bit confused as to who would have requested them. And when their eyes meet yours, Lana, they pause in a look of confusion and excitement before making a quick glance at the other guard, who doesn't really show any indication or emotion otherwise, and they cautiously head over and wrap their arms around you, locking you into a three-way hug.
Lana is frozen in place through all of this and just kind of watching she's just like a touch misty-eyed, seeing them in such good condition, and then as they get closer, she'll just be like,
Hey, JJ's.
she calls them JJs. I just came up with that. It's cute.
Yeah.
Hi.
And she kind of, pulls them back into a tight, probably too tight with all of her, level 12 strength. She just kind of like, gives them a firm squeeze and just like,
Hi. Hello.
Oh, thank God. We're so happy to see you do. Oh God.
So sorry.
So, you all have a quick exchange back and forth. They seem a bit surprised to see you. Wow. After you left and everything started getting worse, nobody knew where you were. And
Things got really crazy. I can explain I'll explain everything once we're back home. But by the time I was able to write to you guys at all, things had gotten really weird and tense, and I'm sorry. I tried. I reached out to you guys as soon as I could.
Well, can't really say I was expecting a demon war too, so I can't really blame you.
Yeah, it was kind of supposed to be over. It's kind of this whole thing. These are two of my allies. I owe them more than you can imagine.
Who went with Lana during her initial trip back home?
I think it was actually Reeves and Reese.
Was it?
I think it was, yeah.
Okay.
It was everyone who went on the Rosny Canyon thing, wasn't it?
No, it was
right after that.
it was everyone that went on the cedar.
Oh, the cedar trip. You're right.
Yeah.
That was us.
Yeah.
Oh, it's you two again.
Hey,
Glad,
Hi.
glad to see you guys are still holding up as well.
We've been
Lana's
through a lot.
sister looks you over, Reese, and goes, "Oh, I love your new hair."
Oh, thank you. I do too. You have amazing taste.
But it sounded like you needed us for something.
Yeah. It's
Sure, fashion.
it's a really long story. I'll kind of give you the lowdown on the way back home. Probably best not to share it here in the open. Here.
Lana's never been very subtle. She's like eyeballing a couple of the Silver Order guys while she's saying this.
Including the one like standing 5 feet away from you.
Reese is like,
Yeah.
okay, let's head back outside the city. Can you escort us back to the gate, please? Thank you.
Of course.
Much appreciated. Yeah, let's just follow the nice man and get the fuck out of here.
Guys pause by the barracks so that they can gather up their belongings and then start making your way out of Cosbury.
Yep.
Unless you want to have any more conversations in the city, because it didn't sound like you did, you guys are able to be escorted out without any issue and start
Nope.
making your way back to the observatory.
Heist successful.
Challenging mission of the campaign is over.
Yep.
Oh my gosh, it's so much less oppressive out here.
Okay. So,
You're telling me.
JJ's, the truth, the short version is,
I'd
reason
rather be inside the tower before we say anything.
well, yeah,
Lana just kind of looks up and sees the sun, and it's like, okay, fair point.
You're not sure if the sunset waved at you or if it's your mind playing tricks on you.
It's my mind. Like Lana's just like shrugs.
It's
Staring
your
in the
mind playing tricks on you.
staring into the sun will do that to a person.
Reese is going to call out Percy and send him to go play with Lana's siblings to occupy them.
1 second.
What?
Fucking my roommate's mom asked for a status update. My old roommate's mom asked for a status update on me.
Oh,
Aww, that's kind of sweet though. She's like, "How you
Yeah.
doing, sweetie?" And you're like, "I'm living the
How you doing,
life.
man?"
I'm by myself with my cat."
Leo is the worst roommate ever, but I love him.
Leo's not the worst roommate ever.
Fair enough.
Definitely still held by Casey, probably.
I don't know. Does Leo? Owe
Leo doesn't get
9,000?
drunk and drown himself in the shower.
I don't
Leo
think-
doesn't get drunk and put his head through my door.
I'm also pretty sure Leo does not also owe you thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fair and valid. Forgot about the thousands of dollars part. That'll do it.
Yeah. Okay. I just said lol, I'm vibing.
Matt! Lol, I'm vibing.
Does
His
Was this
response
a-
was that gave me cancer, but okay.
he'll probably translate it as he's doing well?
Straight up vibing.
I love that.
It's good stuff.
The hip lingo.
I'm doing pretty poggers.
Yeah, I'm pogged up right now.
Logged up.
Alright. So sorry, what
Anyways.
did you say something to your siblings?
No,
Reese
it,
drew out Percy and had him
Oh.
go and entertain Lana's siblings.
How old are they?
Lana's age, they're triplets.
Yeah.
Oh,
Dude,
Lana's
listen.
always felt like the little one. in the
Percy
family.
is an artist. Okay?
Yeah.
How
So I
old's
imagine
Lana?
you guys are just like engaging in small talk.
Yeah.
Yeah. I imagine a bit of an oh my god, what the fuck is that at first, and then Reese is just like, oh, that's Percy.
I imagine
my
it's
son.
people seeing magic for the first time. Cause like actually real magic.
Oh, yeah.
look what I can do! And he just like rams the blade of Skeleton Key right through his palm.
Lana
Oh
tried-
Jesus Christ!
This is like, don't mind him. Don't mind him. It's fine.
Lana's like, God!
It's a circus trick. It's fine.
Yeah, watch as I magically make that go away. And look, no wound.
as Lana pumps 4d6 of vital font into
No, no,
his
no,
palm.
no, no, no. There was no wound to begin with. He just materialized
Oh.
the blade like through his palm.
Oh.
No, Reeves is just being a fuck boy.
Haha.
Ta-da!
He was in the circus.
Uh-huh.
I was.
Oh.
Things have gotten weird. But it's nice to see you.
Yeah. This certainly didn't. This certainly wasn't how he expected today to go, but
It's
Oh, just wait until you get home, and Reese is going to put air quotes around it.
it's home.
Yep,
What would you call it?
is definitely home
It's home.
for a lot of people.
Technically the first home I've ever known.
oh, do you guys have another camp too?
You can call it that. I've got a lot to explain once we're back. So just it might be a lot to take in all at once.
Hold on, I've
Oh.
got an idea. If I do like a big reveal that won't do anything to us, it might help ease things. I'm a dragon.
A what?
You know, big lizard, breathes fire, flaps its wings.
I've never seen
Reese.
you breathe fire.
Shh. Technicalities. It's okay. This will open them up for everything else to seem a lot more normal.
But that's
You
not.
see them rolling insight checks against you. See if you're fucking with them.
So I suppose fire is a type of plasma, and what you shoot out is also
Reese is
plasma.
like, oh no, I'm being serious. He's gonna break out the claws.
So, fun fact.
Oh, that's right.
When Reese materializes the claws, half of it are those like dull blue scales you saw before, but it looks almost like Reese is molting. Because you see these like black, like glossy scales popping up here and there underneath that have like almost a prismatic or like trail of colors in intricate patterns across them at a few points.
You see Reese stare at his hands for a moment, and you can just see him start dissociating.
Please don't freak out. This is.
Did you forget to moisturize this morning?
I didn't figure I had to moisturize, the scales that are technically hidden underneath a really complicated glamour.
Can we please just get back to the observatory so that I can spend like
We're going.
an entire day?
Oh, you want to? You want to hang out right here?
What?
Oh yeah.
And you guys you just duck into the forest.
This is like,
Not sus at all.
So that's new. I don't know what's going on there. I'll unpack that later.
They seem to be very confused or concerned. It's hard to tell.
Probably both.
This is.
both.
I'm sorry. I should have expected this. This is pretty normal for me, where things just happen, and you just got to go with it.
I see.
It's okay. This is not the craziest thing you'll hear today.
I promise I will do everything I can to make this make sense before you go to bed tonight.
And it's like morning, like mid-afternoon.
Are you sure that's enough time?
I don't think it is.
I can condense things enough to
That's
at
fair.
least get some clip notes out, and then we'll work on the rest. We've got like a week until we're expected to be anywhere, so like we're fine.
Okay, I have an excellent summary.
No. Let's wait until we're back at the observatory.
I mean, it's not gonna reveal anything.
Reese like rubbing the scales on his hands.
Do you have anything to contribute? No, you just want pets? I think it's a freeloader.
Oh,
Alright. Anything else while you guys are on the road?
I think that should do it.
Reese is a bad friend.
Yeah.
Pretty typical
Reese is-
brother, though.
Reese is very confused.
It's great. It's great. I'm here for it.
Oh, also the dragon's our brother.
Yeah.
I haven't told mom and dad yet.
Lana tried to drop like, yeah, they're basically like siblings to me by this point, so like you can kind of see them the same way. But that part got lost in translation with all the madness. So we'll hit that up at some point later.
Reeves
fair.
is still casually weaving a skeleton key out through various parts of his body.
Reese eventually at one
Sneezes, it
point,
comes out of his nose.
Reese eventually looks over and he's like, "Can you stop? It's very distracting."
I'm trying to have an existential crisis here.
You process your trauma in certain ways. I process mine like this.
No, this isn't trauma. This is an inconvenience and something that's really strange and new.
Well, sometimes coping is that.
Yeah. I'd say this is about a 2 on the trauma scale out of 10. It's probably bad that I have a scale. I just realized.
I think we're working off 2 differently calibrated instruments.
Okay,
Haha,
so
Reese
if you
has
just...
a lot of scales, but bum.
But
Okay, so if you just look right over this ramp here, our home will be.
Ah, there she be.
As they
Yep.
come up on the observatory.
Do note they do get a little disoriented at first, and you have to help guide them through until Nara catches you guys entering and
Oh,
adds them
and
to the
lifts them
fucking
through the
white
firewall.
list.
Yeah.
They're just like spinning in circles, like, what's going on?
They're getting
yeah,
very dizzy and like, didn't we already come this way?
No, it's fine. Send a message to Nara, please.
Oh, yep. Okay. We've got them, Nara.
Oh shit, let me add them to the fucking firewall.
She forgot.
Let me,
Oh, okay,
let,
then
let me
that'll
ju-
do it.
Let me just open up a couple additional ports.
Let me
Not that
just
she
port
forgot, it's
forward.
just like, she couldn't fucking pick out individual people out of the city,
That's fair.
out of the firewall. Yeah. After a few more minutes of walking, you guys are finally in the observatory, and they are taking in the sights, to say the least.
Okay,
Welcome
summary.
home.
Yep, welcome home. Alright. Let's,
Alright, Nara, let's get the fuck out of here.
yeah, Reese
Okay.
is shilling up. He's like, alright, we can go.
Okay, let me get them to. Where's the place that's least affected by the transportation in here?
Mess hall, maybe?
Mess hall. Okay.
Asshole.
You guys hungry at all?
Oh yeah, we've basically wrapped up right before lunch, so
Hungry
Oh,
for
meal would be
justice.
great.
Okay. You're not gonna eat right away because the places kind of get rumbly like those earthquakes we used to get for a little bit, but that's fine. That's normal. Don't worry about it.
Let's explain that part now.
Yeah.
Let's go to the mess hall. Reese just starts heading to the mess hall.
Okay, yeah, Lana just kind of coaxes them and then just like,
Okay. Here, have a seat. God, where do I even start?
So first the tower moves. So we're moving. It's magic.
Across the. Yeah, across the country.
There anything around you guys that isn't magic?
No.
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 Gotcha.
I'm at
It's-
least 95% magic.
All right, so let me start with this. Up until about when was?
hang on, I actually need to go back to the world map for a second. World map for a second. Bop, 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 bop.
God, when did this arc start? When did everything go to
No.
shit?
When?
Oh, the previous arc, not this arc.
What's the name? What's the capital of Bulgaria again? Varu.
Peru.
It's like Lana will just be like, okay, up until about God, when did Varu happen? It was like 3 days ago, like a month ago.
Time's a social construct.
I don't.
The
know
original one
anymore.
or the new one?
The
do
new
they
one.
Do they really need all of this up front?
Look, I gotta start somewhere, man.
I mean, the basic summary is we're all big damn heroes, and this is our moving base.
Are we?
Yeah. Okay. Up until about a week ago, us and the Silver Order weren't on the bestest of terms. We were kind of, on their hit list. So that's why I couldn't reach out to you guys before.
We were also killing demons. Big ones.
Yeah.
Big ones.
We were kind of racing them to them.
Why exactly weren't you on the best term with Brescian Knights?
Good question.
It's complicated.
It's really
Technically, they're not
complicated.
actually Brescian knights.
No. It's.
Okay.
How
what were
much do
you?
you
What were you told? What story
How-
did they give you?
How much do you guys remember from Bible studies as a kid?
Simultaneously, coin flip. Julian says a lot, Jenna says nothing.
Oh, okay. That. Okay.
Wow. They really are your
So-
siblings. It pulls a bottle point out of his sleeve.
So the Silver Order aren't really Brescian knights as much as they're mercenaries. and they're mercenaries that have been hired to.
That's not
It-
technically true, Lana.
It's
I think we're telling a gentle truth.
it's the closest I can get right now.
But they're not really mercenaries. They're
Conscripted forces that specialize in killing demons. There.
And they really didn't like that we were trying to do that first.
same goal, disagreement on methodologies.
Yeah.
They're slow.
All right,
that
tracking
too.
so far.
And then a week ago, there was a really big fight, and we decided it would probably be best to come to an agreement in order to handle the demons rather than each other. And part of that agreement was that you guys would be with us and not them. And how do I even explain why easily? It's a lot.
Because otherwise you would be brainwashed.
Yes. Basically that.
Put like that, that sounds kind of crazy.
Yeah, they were just training us how to fight.
Well, anytime you were with a Knight of the Silver Order, did any of them seem particularly personal? Did you get any names, hometowns, dreams, even a face?
Nah, I just kind of figured that's how military types were, though.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I would say. I get it.
Reese uncorks the wine bottle.
Okay.
With his teeth.
Yep.
The reason why they were like that wasn't because they were military types. It's because basically their identities got whitewashed to make them better soldiers.
Yep.
1 second.
As Reese takes a swig of wine.
Oh, jeez.
And honestly, when I heard that you guys were going through the training course to be like them, it was kind of sitting with me for a bit.
You know, I think we should probably tell them the whole story since they're going to be living in the observatory.
Yeah, I'm trying to work up. I'm trying to start small, cause it's a lot.
The
That's
gods
fair.
are real.
The gods are real, yeah.
The gods are real. There's like 6 of them here.
More than that.
Just Cornelius walking around his PJs in the background eating cereal out of the box.
He's like, hey Cornelius, what's up?
Just waves at you guys and heads upstairs.
Want to meet the goblin goddess?
Wait,
of-
wait, hold on. Wind it back. How's he eating cereal out of the box? That requires you to hold the box in one hand and be digging into it with the other.
Not
He's
necessarily.
using Mage Hand to hold the box.
Yeah, there we go!
All right.
That's what Reese would do. I applaud him.
You see your siblings looking past you at him. He just waves at them, and they're very confused.
Alright.
Want to meet the goblin goddess of freedom and zeal?
Whoa, slow your roll.
Want to meet the god of parties?
He was gonna do that.
So, yeah, let's start with that. The gods are real, and they're here.
Well, some of them. Some of them don't like us very much, like the one that's making the Silver Order Knights. Ethos.
Yeah.
Well, we're now on okay terms, I guess. He's still a dick.
So the god of creation is an asshole that doesn't like you.
Yes.
Correct.
Yes.
And definitely stabbed, Brianna.
Yeah, we were. Do you remember when I told you guys about the Hands of the Mother, the group that I was traveling with when I left home?
I mean, they're kind of named, like, name was kind of on the
Mercenaries
point.
you guys were hanging out with.
Yeah, I mean, name was kind of on the point. The mother in reference was Mother Brianna because she was the one leading that up. So, that's kind of where the whole
You
disagreement
guys hang out
came
with a
from.
lot of gods. That's kind of weird.
Yes,
Frickin'
oh,
tell me about it, man.
We
Takes a
haven't
swig.
even gotten started. We haven't even gotten started. So the reason why all of us are here, and is Wolf at it? No, okay. So there's 6 of us, right? And the reason why we're all here is because we were kind of given a job referral by one of the lower gods to kind of help fix the problem without giving away people's souls to the Silver Order.
On a scale of 1 to 5, how confused are you right now?
It's a lot, I
Uh,
know.
I'd say a good solid 7, probably. That's what I'd be.
Julian says 4, Jenna says 5.
So we can take a break here if you want, but
Lana,
yeah,
Yeah, maybe food will help me think.
Lana,
yeah, Reeves.
you've been keeping a journal of everything, right?
Yeah, actually, I mean,
Let them read
Oh.
that.
that's a great idea. I kind of fell off a little bit after when we were kind of chasing down the sins, but yeah, that's a great idea. Actually, I love that.
Better yours than mine.
Alright. So Lana goes to grab her book, and you guys get some food assembled for the other 2 triplets.
Yeah. So Lana
Reese is
just
gonna
kinda
do little magical party tricks to entertain them while Lana's missing.
Lana comes back in like 5 minutes. She like Monk walks out of the room, so like fast.
Yeah.
Fast.
Just like speed walking on fast forward.
Yeah, basically. She speed walks so hard that there's a little trail of key behind her as she moves.
There she goes.
There she go.
And then she comes back like 5 minutes later and just plunks down a little worn down journal on the table. Just goes, okay, in your own time for this. I'll admit I'm not exactly like the best writer, so a lot of it's probably pretty scatterbrained, but it should get the general idea across to you in the time that everything happened.
Mm-hmm.
Not even
And
I've
this
gotten to
way-
read that.
And this way, if you have any questions regarding any dates or anything, you can focus your questioning there.
I stopped keeping track of the dates actually. I just kind of started going in by entries. Because I wasn't writing in it every day. I was mostly just writing it when something important happened, which is like once a week. So I just seemed
mean-
kind of wasteful there.
I mean, to be fair, we usually get up to something like one thing a week.
Things are crazy, you know.
Actually, it's kind of weird that for a while there it was like consistently like one thing per week.
Saving the world is hard. You need to take some time to recover.
No,
Time
I'm
is a
just
social
saying.
construct.
I'm just saying it was really weird that it was just like oddly that consistent.
Yeah, it was for like a year. It's kind of crazy actually.
Yeah, Reeves, when you think on that, your head hurts.
Leaning
You get
on
the
wall.
imminent sense that the building could collapse on you at any given moment in time.
No, don't lean on that wall, Reeves. It's holding the whole thing up.
Jesus Christ.
Oh god, there's another wall.
This session's a mess.
Yeah.
I love this. Yep. So as they're reading the journal, assuming that they are, Lana will just kind of take the
Mhm.
time to just be like, okay, so when this happened, we were here, this, and we'll just kind of like Lana-ism story her way through each entry to kind of help extrapolate on things a little further.
Yeah.
Reese is slowly going through his bottle of wine.
Yep.
Reeves digs out.
Reese is just vibing.
Reeves digs out like a thimble, and like pushes it towards Reese. Can I have some?
Sure. Pour some in.
Huzzah!
Like a thimble, as in the things that you put needles in that are riddled with holes, are like something thimble-sized.
Thimble size.
Thimbles don't
Okay.
have holes in them. They shouldn't.
Oh,
They
I
have
thought-
little indentations because they're meant to protect your thumb.
Oh, right. The thimble's the thing you wear on your thumb. Right.
Yeah. But it's like a tiny shot glass, I think.
Are you sure you don't want like a little bit more, Reeves?
No.
It's not. Oh, okay.
That's like a
Why not?
bottle. That's like an entire glass for him. He's tiny.
Dude knows what he wants.
Reese
He's also
kind
like
of
8.
Reese kind of looks at Lana's siblings like, do you guys want some? I know today's been a bit fun.
That might help.
Sweet, I'll go get some glasses.
I mean, hey, if they're old enough to send away their souls to fight demons, they're old enough to drink, so they have my blessing. Not that they really need it. I'm triplets.
Sorry.
I don't know. They're not. I'm not the boss of them.
Triplets.
I don't know why I thought that I was there for a second. That's kind of weird.
Just a little on edge today, Lana.
A little. It's yeah. It's really good to see you too.
Reese comes back with 2 cups, pours some wine, shoves it at them.
I half expected him to have Percy like pull 2 wine glasses out of his coat.
He should be carrying glasses at this point, but let's be real, Reese drinks from the bottle too often to have glasses in his coat.
No, they're guest glasses.
You think he shares?
It's for the other bottles of wine he goes to deliver to other people,
That's fair.
in case their life is slightly more put together than his.
He might start carrying some after this.
Reese drinks from the bottle too much to carry. I'm sorry, that's really funny.
Reese, after like handing them the alcohol, is like, "Oh, by the way, another quirk. I can't get drunk. Isn't that great?"
Huh.
Well, unless I want to, and then I just flip a little switch in my brain, and there it is. Magic.
I
Drinks again.
see.
I'm giving libations to Feck. I'm very devout. Takes another swig.
Yeah, more so than me. It's kind of crazy.
Was that a joke, Lana?
It was a little bit of a joke, you know?
I'm so proud of you.
Proud.
That was 2 in sync. It was pretty funny.
What? Oh, you're friendly.
I'm glad we're
No.
just straight up vibing tonight.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
dude. It's a memes. It's memes right now. Until like the last 10 minutes when Matt's like, "Oh, Vit, Whisper Channel," and drops some other fucking bullshit on you.
Nah, the scales is probably the most bullshit unless I forgot something.
Yeah.
I'm only like a quarter of the way into the sour ale, so we'll see where it takes me.
Oh my god, Matt's drinking!
Fuck yeah, let's go.
Let's go! This is what peak performance looks like. So, hopefully Lana's siblings don't get brain blasted.
Yeah. They'll just kind of
It's
joke and
a lot.
vibe. And... Yeah.
You do notice as you're telling them things that occasionally they do get headaches. It looks like they still have the God Seal.
Oh no! Reese is like,
Hey,
oh crap.
real quick, can you guys hear this? Red Sun? Did you guys understand that?
I
Oh,
wanted to do
okay.
that.
Oh
Is that more
no!
magic?
Okay, so there are things that we're involved in that if we try to tell you about are too important to be heard. So we can't share them without you getting headaches because the gods put a seal in place.
It's really annoying.
It's really annoying.
it's not great.
We just got rid of it. Not worth it. You should keep it as long as possible. It's better this way.
I don't know. Yeah. Fair enough.
I mean, I'm fine, but a lot of people in this group definitely did not come out of it okay.
Yeah. I'm still thinking about mine.
Yeah, I don't think we need the crash course with that at the end of it then.
Can I get some more wine?
You are going to drink me out of house and home. Pour
I've
some
had
more
like
wine.
two-
Second thimble.
I've had one thimble.
He says this as he's pouring you more wine.
You step on Reeves' foot to open his head like a trash can lid and just pour some fucking wine in.
Memes. We have fun here.
Yes, we
Yeah.
That's kind of like as that's happening, Lana's just kind of leaning over and being like, "Isn't that kind of crazy though? I thought that the God Seal was lifted for everyone."
Probably not.
It would cause mass panic.
I think
Like,
we're on.
mass panic.
I think it's on a need to know basis.
But they wouldn't gain the knowledge, right? It's just a matter of. Yeah, fair enough, I guess.
I don't pretend to know things.
Cut to the alternate timeline where he lifted the seal on everybody and fucking you guys just have Zoomir cloud shape into ethos as a fuck everybody already died.
Everyone already died. Oh.
I hate this. God.
Wow.
Cursed.
Zoomir would have been so done. Oh no.
Baby.
Not
Some
even
things-
ethos is a fuck, ethos is a big meanie.
Ethos is a big meanie.
And so everything about everyone already died hit me really hard. I love that.
He's just looking at Lana's siblings like, so do you have any questions? That's probably
Only
safer.
like 10,000, but we should
Good.
probably think on the ones that are important.
Okay.
Good. That's
My
normal.
brain's starting to hurt and that's not just the headache.
Fair. That's where we were at up until like yesterday. So I totally get it.
Got
The-
it, so
the
give us a few months to process this.
Yeah,
and
pretty
maybe
much.
we'll catch up.
The important thing to know is that you're. I'm glad you're here, and I'm gonna keep looking out for you guys. All right, that's what matters. You're in good hands here.
Lana's hands.
Sounds like we wouldn't have had the best time out there, so appreciate it, sis.
Yeah. How far into your training did you get? Like, just out of curiosity.
Few months now, I think, but I want to say we weren't set to graduate until like end of summer, early fall.
Wow, we actually had way more time than I thought we did. I was freaking out. What all were they? I mean, yeah. What all were they teaching you exactly? Was it just basic? Was it just basic weapon training, or
Any like survival skills?
Combat drills, strength and endurance training. A lot of information on the demons that we might be dealing with them. Troop tactics. A bunch of military stuff like that. Survival too.
Oh wow. Lana's eyes kind of light up a little bit. It's, well, if you want to keep going your training regimen, I've kind of developed a little something right of my own over here. I'm sure these two can actually attest to it more than most around here.
Reese looks like he's about to get up and leave.
Reeves is just like waving his hands in front of himself. He's like, yeah.
Is it like normal people training or like
No.
weird trick training, like pulling daggers out of yourself and
Oh no,
No,
hers is
no,
hers is
no.
all hand-to-hand combat
and running, lots and lots of running.
and
You gotta
lots
get
of
your cardio.
running. So
I hope
much
you like leg
running.
day. I hope you like
Look,
leg day.
I only do 20 laps around the observatory. I don't see what the problem is.
they chuckle at that.
It's not just around the observatory, Lana. It's the perimeter of the observatory.
Yeah, it only takes like 20 minutes. What's the problem?
I'm sore just thinking about it.
I'm a mage.
Not after this week with Wolf, you're not.
I know. I've forever been changed. And probably not in a good way.
Anyway, sorry. So the reason why I asked is, if you feel like you can do so, we could probably use a little bit of help around here, just kind of keeping an eye on things and getting information on what's going on out there. If that's something you feel like you could do safely.
I'm not sure how much help will be, but if anything needs doing, we'll do what we can.
Well, you guys were gonna get sent out to fight, so might as well make sure you still get the chance to do your part, right? If you want to. I wouldn't blame you if not.
If we're gonna be having them do like assisting with intel gathering and stuff like that, I can introduce them to my family.
Yeah, Cedar's troop would actually be really good to tell them to. They've been doing it for a while now.
It's kind of their
Oh,
thing.
was that the circus that was coming?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not wrong.
Not wrong. It was a circus that was coming to town.
Yeah, it sounded like they had to cancel their show at the last moment. but-
Yeah.
It's
Weird.
really unfortunate.
It's a
was kinda
shame.
weird. I heard that their show was really entrancing.
Yeah, it was quite charming.
Mhm.
Reeves just turns his head and looks up at you both, and it's just like, ugh.
Did we just make Reeves groan at a joke? Reeves.
This day
Thrown it
feels a
on-
little topsy-turvy. Lana's making jokes. Reeves is grimacing.
I think we just witnessed like a miracle happen.
Look, some
Are we
things
dead?
can't- Look, some jokes can't be said in bad taste, okay?
I'm sorry. It's your family.
It was a
Yeah,
good show,
fair.
though.
Yeah,
I mean,
like,
it was great up until the finale. Yeah.
it's all fun and games until an owlbear is sicked upon us.
And to be fair, they were doing it for the right reasons. Cedar really was trying to help people.
They were helping people by sending an owlbear to attack you guys?
No,
Yes.
that is also well.
Okay, so if you refer back to page 4 there, you'll see the entry where we kind of handled that.
That was only page 4.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was pretty early in our careers, you know?
Huh.
They're really good people.
They really are. They taught me a couple of tricks. I can move better than ever now. I like to think that Lana owes her acrobatness to Lady Vanquin being like, here's how you move through a person and kick their legs on the way through.
Is a cartwheel over, motherfucker?
Yeah, see, it's really easy to cartwheel through people actually, because they don't expect you to cartwheel through them.
What you have to do is just do it before they have time to react, and then punch them in the face for having dared question your ability to cartwheel through them.
And then Lana's just nodding like, yeah, perfect. Okay, got it. Tracking. Easy. Why didn't I think of that?
But yeah, they seem willing to meet around with a couple of the other people here and figure out what they can do to help. Maybe not super combat willing at the moment, considering everything they had just been told about what's going on, but...
Oh yeah, just willing to pitch in.
Yeah. Can't exactly say I'd feel right sitting around here doing nothing for however long this takes, so... We'll find a way to make ourselves useful.
Honestly, just having you guys around will be enough for me.
Oh, come on, you wouldn't sit out of it if the role was reversed.
I mean, well, yeah, but the roles aren't reversed, so I'm here, so I can say it.
You're not very good at hypotheticals, Lana, but I appreciate the effort.
Uh,
She's got the spirit.
Yep. Alright. You now have 2 more non-deploy agents.
Yay.
So they can't go on missions with you, obviously, but they can help out in other ways. I will add them to the appropriate list.
Oh boy.
And that may change after time, but
Oh god.
Thumbs up emoji.
see how that goes.
That was long and full of memes.
Yes.
It was beautiful.
I loved it.
It was
It was
How the
beautiful.
side RP sessions go.
Now we just have 20 more to do.
Oh yeah. Speaking of which.
Yep.
Okay. Who do I approach first?
Quick aside before that, not an RP session or anything. I'm just letting Matt know. For the first time since for the first time in like a couple of weeks, actually, Lana is in a good enough mental state to go and visit Sarah. So that'll probably happen a couple days later, or like later that night or something. So we can handle that at a later point.
Like a plan. Either text or when I have a slot open up, or voice later on. Excuse
Yeah.
me.
Okay. I think we.
Is anybody else cutting out for each other too?
No.
I'm fine.
I've been noticing you cutting out a little bit, but
Hold on. Let me swap the channel around a bit. I think it doesn't like routing to me from the West Coast.
Oh.
it's fair.
Fuck with the setting. Server setting. Why does it say the server's on the West Coast? It shouldn't be. Hold on. Hello.
Hello.
Oh.
Alright, let's try that.
Hello.
Okay, there we go. My ping is no longer sitting at 100 passively. Okay.
Beautiful.
So, Reeves.
Okay. I think before he attempts to meditate on his own, I think he's going to. I think it's after like another day of kind of trying to do some the next step of his chainbreaker training, where Emmy kind of just shoos him out of the infirmary again.
Just takes the dagger away, even knowing it's in vain. Like, cease.
It's like okay, fine, I'll stop for today. Jeez, and he just teleports the dagger back to himself.
Zara will know if you don't stop, Reeves. I can't protect you from her.
Okay.
And he'll go like waddle outside. Uh, where is Reese?
Depen- he's been training all week, so he's either in like the training area or he's outside training more.
I think he'll just when he waddles outside and sees Reese, and he'll just go over and say, "Emmy kicked me out."
Ugh, God, don't do that.
I was even trying that time.
I am not used to physical labor.
Lana's probably not there because she's training with her siblings and just being like,
Okay, and up.
Yep. Why did you get kicked out this time?
Same reason as the other day. Look, this is tough.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, how's your reactive training going?
Okay, I guess. I don't know. I'm a mage. And Wolf's sulking somewhere. In between lessons.
I gotcha. Well, I think I'm pretty good. I'm a pretty good opportunist when it comes to getting jabs in. Maybe I can help you with that.
Okay.
Cool.
Don't shoot me.
I'm not gonna. I don't even have my crossbow on me.
I don't know. You have that dagger that can go through parts of your body. I don't know what you can do.
Oh, like this?
Ugh. Yeah, like that.
So Reeves is gonna help Reese with some of his drills, and then like kind of part way through, he's just gonna say,
So, your whole situation. When did you become aware of it?
Which situation?
Your scales and your lightning breath.
A while back. I don't remember exactly when. My skin started to crack at some point. And then I was told I was under a really powerful glamour. And then when the whole breath thing was kind of new. The scale thing started in that one dungeon where you went unconscious that one time.
Oh, the murder demons.
Yeah.
That was a bad day.
Yeah, I got the claws then. Found out I was a dragon with the sin.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also found out that the parents that I thought were real aren't really my parents, and they know their son is dead. Also, Tiamat has been acting as my mother this entire time.
Well, I don't think I can top that, but
It's been fun.
not a word I would use, but yeah. So you were pretty galvanized against what was told to us earlier.
Yeah. The whole not being who you thought you were thing, I'd already been through that.
Well, I don't know. Part of me thinks When we picked up Jenna and Julian, it sort of hit me that technically speaking, this Lana didn't have that childhood with them. Not really.
Yeah.
And it also hit me that I have never actually set foot in Tripwire.
I mean, it's basically the same thing as me, except mine's a little weirder. I have the memories of one of the 7 heroes' childhood shoved into my brain. I'm not even physically that person.
Yeah, that's a position I do not envy you.
Nah, it's okay. I'm coping with it.
I'm not entirely sure what to think. Like, I don't know. Like, the more I think about it, the more it's kind of...
I can tell you what everybody else has been telling me. And that is that no matter what happens, you are who you are in this moment. That doesn't really help, though.
I mean, I told Lana the other day that, you know, in spite of everything, she's still her and we're still us. But,
Yeah, it doesn't really help, does it?
it can help Lana a bit. But,
Well, yeah. Lana's really optimistic, though. I wish I had Lana's resilience.
yeah, it'd be pretty nice.
No, what you've got to do is you've got to sit down and ask yourself, who am I in this moment? And you just kind of got to sift through the things that you like, you know, the things that you feel make you you. And then it starts to be okay.
Yeah, like, I mean, I've done things that the other Reebs hasn't, or couldn't, or like, I've done things that make me distinct from him.
Exactly.
I mean, that's not the issue. It's,
Does it matter then?
I suppose it doesn't.
You're still a person. You're just not the same person. And that's fine.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, I guess on some level, I don't know. Like, this whole time, even with everything that's happened, I've never really felt that compelled to go check up a tripwire, you know?
I've always found it funny that I was always drawn to go back to my parents and check on them, and they were never even really mine. Weird.
Weird how that works. I don't know. It may be presumptuous to say that maybe on some level I kind of knew, but
If it makes you feel any better, it's actually kind of liberating. Not having any ties. You can be whatever you want.
That's true.
Still sucks.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes, I don't know, it's probably blasphemous to say, but you know, sometimes having so much freedom can be kind of restrictive in its own right.
My mother's Tiamat.
That's rough, buddy.
I told her to go fuck herself, and I'm pretty sure she wants to kill me.
That's really rough, buddy.
Yeah, I don't make good life choices.
I mean, I'm sure it felt good at the moment.
It felt amazing.
Hold on to that.
Yeah. But no, really, seriously, just sit down and think, what do I want to do with this life that I have now? And just go from there.
Well, my mind's already made up My mind's already made up in that regard.
And that's all that matters.
Thanks, Reese.
Yeah. I've done a lot of self-reflection. Does it show?
Certainly does. Okay, now you need to shift your form a bit. It's a little off. You got
Yeah.
you gotta leave room to allow yourself to pivot.
Mm-hmm. They'll have fun.
And yep. And that's what I had in mind for that.
Holla holla.
Reese's depression meant that he did a lot of self-therapy.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. Some of that advice in there sounded kind of familiar.
Some of it is.
Mm-hmm.
Some of it was from Lana.
Yeah.
It passed through the Reese filter, and that was the part of it that actually helped.
Yeah. During a little sidebar, Lana was just like, "Okay, close your eyes and tell me all the things that you like to do." It was really cute.
Yeah,
Aw.
it was really cute.
I like to think about stabbing ever.
Right
Well,
now he does,
Like,
definitely.
before that.
Reese
That
just...
was before.
One
That
day-
was before violent Reese.
One day everybody's sitting at dinner and Reese suddenly has this tiny little Eber doll that he keeps stabbing with a fork.
Just Nar, where'd you find that trash? Throw it away.
Reese is like, oh, good point. Lights it on fire.
Alright. Reese, did you have one that you wanted to do?
Oh my gosh. Not PC specific ones.
Any NPCs?
So many. Looks at the list again.
Throw a dart at the dartboard.
I pinned it, didn't I? Yeah, I did. Woo!
I believe so.
Oh gosh. Well, he wanted to have a little mindscape with Brianna, but I don't know if that's productive right now.
Those might be better for solo things.
Yeah. He did want to have his talk with Nara.
Nara? or
Not
Zara?
Nara, Zara. Matt!
Too many R's, sorry.
Ara.
Is
So, yeah.
that their combined mom name?
Yeah.
The Ara Ara duo.
Please no.
I mean, they're probably
Yeah.
very Ara.
But yeah, if you look around, Zara is, as usual, camped out in the medical station with between her and Emmy. They are usually spending most of their free days there, making sure everything is all set up and tending to the minor wounds of people.
And
Reese.
Reeves.
Yeah.
And Reese.
Reese got
When you
kicked out.
head
Reese-
over there, you see Emmy walking out with like an annoyed look on her face as she's hauling a fucking like hazardous waste bag of Reeves's bandages to go burn. Oh, Leo. Oh, you bitch. Hold on.
Oh no!
Baby!
I
What
hope
did he
that didn't
do?
ruin my mouse. He kicked over my fucking sour alcohol all over my mouse pad and mouse.
Oh no.
Oh no. Leo!
You
Leo.
fucking gay boy. Now you're gonna get drunk licking it off your paws. You stupid bitch.
it off your paw.
He was like, this conversation absolutely cannot happen.
Hold
You take your time.
on. Why did I bring only a handful of these? I need to bring the entire roll. My stupid son, why do you hate me? You having fun over there, Leo?
Thankfully, with most mouses, the bottoms are pretty okay. As long as it didn't get in the top.
Yeah, that's the question. I'm gonna have to wash this mouse pad. Cats are shitty animals. Why do we own them?
Because they're actually really adorable.
God, they're lucky. They're so cute.
They're really lucky. They're so cute.
They're the world's shittiest animals. This bundled in a baby package.
You know, that's kind of how Reese survived. Because he's lucky he's cute. Fucking bards.
Nature's perfect predator in a little 10-pound package.
Bless. They're so angry.
No, they're not
So-
angry. They're just kind of dumb.
They're riddled with one emotion that they choose upon character creation.
Yeah.
Leo's is dumb.
Yeah, Leo's is fucking stupid.
It's just dumb baby.
Reese's was fucking drunk, and then he respected into depression. Now he respected into apathy.
No, now he respected into rage.
He's not... Rage requires a level of care that Reese doesn't quite have yet.
Reese is devolving into this campaign's Drum, where at the end of it, he's just gonna fucking casually stab Ethos and say, fuck. Bitch.
Dumbass.
I wish that was wrong. But the longer the campaign goes on, I'm like, man, casters just naturally become this, I guess. They're delicate and soft.
I'm tired. That's what they get for not sleeping, apathy.
Reese sleeps.
Does he?
Matt, please. Matt says that's the last revelation he has for Reese. Matt, a few minutes later, does Reese sleep? Has Reese ever slept?
He's a dragon, he probably sleeps a lot.
Yeah. He probably sleeps like 10 hours a night, and people are like, Reese, wake up! And he's like, no.
Reese is just a cat where he's awake for like 4 hours a day, but they're the most chaotic 4 hours.
I definitely am kind of contemplating taking pages out of How to Train Your Dragon and being like, dragons are all cats.
And they basically are.
Giant scaled cats.
Tiamat's a fucking house cat the size of a fucking city block.
Oh,
And she
Lord.
acts like one.
One of
It's just
those
when
douchey
Tiamat-
ones.
It's just when Tiamat gets the zoomies, she destroys the mortal realm.
Yeah. It's a good thing she doesn't get those often.
Yeah.
Or if she does, she's contained.
They put her in gay baby Gowl. Okay, Leo, if this isn't working tomorrow morning, you're not going to be working tomorrow morning.
Yes, he is. Don't lie to him.
Is it working currently, or did you put it in
Yeah,
rice?
it's working currently. I
Okay.
need to go put it in fucking rice. But I'm playing D&D right now. Yeah, it's okay. I can have some of my rice be alcohol flavored. Leo, get away from my desk or I will beat your ass.
If it's
I will
working
end you.
now, it should be fine.
Yeah. It's not the only time I've ever had electronics break after time was when I had one of those shitty, the keyboards that had like the gel like circuit
Oh.
like back thing, the like Garbo ones,
Yeah.
the ones that if your fucking room is too moist, they will fail.
Yeah. So, if your electronics are working currently, you only need to put them in rice if they have stopped working,
Okay.
typically.
So, back to the story.
Yeah.
So, you walk in after Emmy is dragging out a bag of Reeves shaped biohazard bins.
I pat her on the head, ruffle her hair
Yeah.
a little bit,
Thanks. It's been a week.
kiss her on the cheek, platonically.
And as you walk in, Zara is going over a few documents and just idly tossing an apple up and down in her hand. As she hears the sound of footsteps and casually looks over her shoulder, sitting a bit more upright when she realizes it isn't Emmy, and turns to face you. Do you need something, Reese?
Nothing specific. I just realized we hadn't really caught up since you got back.
To be fair, things have been very
Hectic.
difficult since I came back.
Yeah. Well, hopefully I'm not disturbing you from whatever you're doing.
If anything, it's a break from the tedium.
Cool. Reese is gonna sit down
Mm-hmm.
on a cot nearby, and he is going to give her the story. I'm just gonna call it that from now on. The story.
The I'm a dragon.
Yes. Like explaining it from
dragonfly.
beginning to current.
I see. That does explain how you are very good at not dying.
I guess. I didn't think about it that way. I have definitely gotten close before.
Perhaps less close than we were all led to believe. But I'm glad that the mystery about that and all of the concern it was giving you has since been resolved. Oh.
I did find out recently that my scales are apparently changing color. That's new.
He doesn't remember the conversation that he had with Argus. That's funny.
Yeah, unless Lana brought that up specifically after the fact during the recap. No.
I think she did.
She did. And Reese believed him, rolled for it, and he retained it, I think.
Yep.
Yeah.
It is still new.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just something different is happening.
I can't say I know that much about dragons, but if it is concerning, perhaps you could check with Nicandros. He might have a better idea.
Maybe he knows a good product to put on scales.
Oh yeah, speaking of Nicandros, Lana's gonna check in with him.
Hell yeah. Perhaps he does, but Nicandros is not the one to obsess over things like that.
Pretty sure if I talked to Nicandros now with my newly found confidence, he would possibly fall apart. But I can definitely give it a try.
You say it like he didn't before.
It could be worse.
I'm glad to see that courage of yours has bubbled up to the surface then.
Despite all odds.
You don't give yourself enough credit.
People keep telling me that.
What, because you did not stand up brave and tall every time you were faced with a threat before? Is that why you think you lacked courage?
I mean, at one point I definitely cowered behind a carriage and threw up during a battle. That was not very good.
And yet, I seem to recall that a certain bard never once tried to escape or leave when he had the opportunities. It's easy enough to be brave when you have confidence in yourself and your abilities, but I always thought that perhaps you were the bravest of the new ones. It takes bravery to stick around when you don't know for certain what the future brings.
Fair enough.
And as I said, whether we have the same understanding of it or not, I'm glad that you finally have found yours. Do you know why I always worried about you all so much? Especially you and Wolf.
Because we're a chaotic mess.
That. But if you had to guess, what were the two things that come to mind that would be the most likely to kill you in the hunting grounds now that you have seen them yourself?
The cold? Sorry.
She laughs at that. No, that is the third.
Oh.
But a good guess. Overconfidence and underconfidence.
Yeah. Wolf definitely had the first covered.
Yes, and I'm very proud to see where he has ended up in my absence. I'm proud to see where you all ended up.
He's a good pup.
I wish I could have been there with you all sooner, but to get this far.
It's okay. You probably didn't want to see me when I was going through my sin anyways.
Well, if you handled it as well as some of the others,
Reese
it's
lets out
better
a,
that you had a little bit of a distance.
Reese just lets out a nervous laugh.
You know how well I take to people solving their problems.
Yeah.
Gives you a big toothy grin.
Well, I'm definitely glad you're back. And you seem better. Though I'm not sure how.
The way I would have hoped, but closure and reconnection in a sense. And you realize it for the first time since you walked in the room that Zara is no longer wearing the collar around her neck. Strands of her hair have started to go white.
Well, I am happy for you. Seems we're all coming into our own. Is that the right word? Phrase? Whatever.
Seems close enough.
Oh. Also, while you were gone, me and Tomas started dating. That's the thing. Sort of. That's on shaky ground right now. To be determined.
See. So I bet you can see like a kind of feral look behind her eyes as she says, "Well, I hope you two can find a way to work it out."
Yeah. I'm sure we'll have a talk once he's done sulking far away from the observatory where I cannot reach him. Sweats.
Well, if you have any concerns, I'm always here for you, pup.
Oh, thank you. It's good to have you back. I'll let you be. And I'll be sure to talk to Tomas once he gets back.
I'm sure that's for the best. Try to rest up in the meantime. It wouldn't do to go into that conversation angry about things you don't need to be.
It's okay. I'm working out my anger through training this week. I'm sure it'll be fine. Yeah.
Expected ventures, but I'm sure you're quite busy.
Yeah. Speaking of puppy, I should probably go get more lessons from him.
Zara just gives you a hearty clap on the shoulder and says, "I'm sure it'll be fine, dear."
Fingers crossed. And
She
he'll go-
just nods at that and gets back to her documents.
Word. I'm glad Zara just threatened Reese with a bad time. He doesn't make up with his boyfriend.
Yeah, my boyfriend's being a sulking bitch. That's unfortunate. Maybe you should all take some time to calm yourselves before you have a conversation. She starts cracking her knuckles.
He's just like, okay, Mom, bye.
Before I put you in a bed.
I will bury you two together.
Bless.
Oh, Zara, you're the best.
I love her.
She's the strong arm mom. All right. Next up is Lana. Did you have somebody specific you wanted to go talk to?
Nick Andros.
Nick Andros. All right. So, he is probably working with Theoden at that point to get some repairs done on his armor and equipment. But you find him in just his plain clothes, probably hanging around the forge for the time being, and he just gives you a nod as you approach.
Yep, Lana just kind of looks briefly between Nicandros and Theoden. It's like,
Oh, he's pretty busy. Hi, Nicandros. How you doing? How you doing today?
I've been getting better. Thank you for your concern.
That's a relief. I came over here because I was gonna ask you a favor, and among a couple other things, but I figured I'd get the favor out of the way first. You see, we went to go pick up the JJs the other day, and I figured I was gonna pick up with their training where they left off with the Silver Knights, but I found out that I'm not real too good at lessons, so I figured I'd come over here to see if you were willing to pick that up, since you're kind of more what they're used to.
1 second. The JJs.
My siblings.
Oh, okay. And you said that they had been starting their training under the Silver Orders?
We went to go pick them up. And that we went to go pick them up yesterday, and yeah.
See. Well, if they're interested in continuing their training, I can probably assist them to some level. Not sure how much they've gone over, but
I'll see where they want to go. I figured it'd be good to give them options, cause I I'm not exactly the teacher that my master was yet.
I'm sure that if you want to go that route in time, you'll grow into it, but it's not something one can learn overnight.
Well, I appreciate that. And as she's saying that, she kind of takes a seat and she goes, "So, what what exactly have you been up to after everything happened?"
In the sense of where I've been since everybody was separated at Veru, or since we returned from retrieving myself and Cornelius.
Separated at Veru.
For a short time, I don't exactly know where I was, but I was in some sort of abandoned city before Eber and his men found me. And it seems that he was quite intent on making me convert. For some reason, he believed the foolish notion that I would believe that he was the successor of Argith.
Well, he snatched up one of her domains, but that doesn't make her rightful. Make him rightful.
Exactly. Even if he gathered up every part of her, he's not Argith. He doesn't stand for what she does.
Why settle for the imitation? We've got the real thing walking around the observatory, right?
He cocks his eyebrow at that.
Right. Alright, well, you're a follower too, so you deserve to know. Argith is here, but, she's basically got this god curse placed on her to where people forget her as soon as she walks out of the room.
I see. He thinks on that for a moment. It certainly wouldn't be the strangest thing that's been going on. Unfortunate circumstance, though. Hopefully we can find some way to lift it.
That's what I'm hoping too. I'm currently working a couple of leads, as they say. So hopefully we'll see where those go when we're not, running around doing everything. There was. Oh yeah. She just kind of sits there and is like, I feel like there's something else I meant to. God, it's. Oh wait. Lady Elderness was wanting to know when we came across you, so I sent out a note to her, this morning, because I remembered. So, she's still keeping track of her people.
And you see Nicanthus let out a heavy sigh and says, So she made it out of Faircrest then.
She's part of the reason we did, actually. Did you know she's a dragon? She says to Nicandros. Like a real, full... Yeah.
Yes, I'm aware.
Lana says as if she's the only dragon she knows.
Yeah. Look.
She went
It's
2.
like a cursory third through 8th. 3rd through 7th, sorry, I can count.
But I think she'll be pretty relieved to hear that you're all right. I know we all were.
Yes, it'll be good to know that I'm not weighing too heavily on her mind with the other works that she probably has on her hands at the moment, considering everything else going on.
I wonder what she's been up to since our parting of ways. I guess we'll probably find out at some point.
Yes, she has a knack for keeping herself busy.
Mm-hmm. So I guess this means you're back with us now?
Yes. I was just having Theoden make some adjustments to my armor to repair
let's
the
do it.
damage that was dealt.
Are you
and
getting upgrades?
He smiles at that and says, yes, considering the threats we're facing, I wanted to make sure that I wouldn't be a burden.
I don't know about a burden. I still remember back in Kenton when your intervention is the only reason that giant ogre thing didn't knock my dang head off.
Well, considering everything that happened at Veru, I think everybody's done a lot of growing since Kenton.
Seems that way. But you know, that moment still kind of comes back to me, so I I just wanted to let you know that I still appreciate that, and I still think back to that a lot.
I'm glad I could be of assistance to you, Lana.
So how long until your shiny new armor is done?
He looks over at Theoden. Considering some of the enhancements, probably a day or two.
Well, I want to know when it's done because I bet it's real cool.
Oh, despite his best efforts, I'm sure I can make it look very nice.
Well, if anyone can, you can, Theoden.
Oh, I won't tell Mika you said that.
Oh, yeah, she... Oh.
Oh no.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest, Theoden. Mika's a lot more about function over form. She makes to murder, but as far as style goes, I don't know.
It's her way for caring for all of you. I still
Yeah.
wouldn't say that in her presence.
No, look. Sometimes I step in it, but I'm not that tactless.
He has a chuckle at that. Oh.
Well, I guess that's all I really came to do was just check in and make sure you're all right and ask for your help and let you know everything that was going on.
It's no problem at all. Let me know once you've had a talk with them if they'd like to continue their training with me.
Come to think of it, we pretty much got the whole band back together, so I could give him the whole list of everyone, except I probably won't tell him that, to ask Shino for help. He'd probably really hate that.
He's not exactly the teaching type.
Yeah, no, I like funny as it would be, I think I'll leave him off the table for both his and their own good.
Yes, that's probably for the best of everyone.
Okay, I'll keep you posted. I'm gonna go check on him now. And Lana just kind of does that thing where she just kind of scurries up to her feet,
He just gives you a courteous bow as you depart.
and she wiggles on out.
All right. Uh, we got time for maybe one or two more. Reeves.
Do we want to do a journey into the mine of Reebs?
Brain plays conversations are probably better for like solo chats.
Okay, we'll plan for that then.
Yep.
Let's see, who else does Reebs want to talk to? Um, we could probably do the conversation with Cornelius.
That works.
Yeah. He's not quite ready to get the pile bunker all set in place, but he knows that there's like a big black box in his diagram, and he has no idea what to do with it.
So you are free to track down Cornelius. Most of the time he's spending in his workshop at the moment, but you are free to enter that.
Right.
Or catch him when he's moving between places.
I think he'll go to him in his workshop.
So, eventually you're let in by the odd member of the one that wore the full face mask that didn't speak before. He just opens the door and lets you in with a gesture before disappearing back to his work.
Thank you.
He doesn't respond.
Alright, and he'll go to see Cornelius.
As you enter his workshop, Cornelius is disassembling one of the arms of one of his automatons and looking over a diagram once again, mostly holding things in place with the ghost hand and then doing detail work with his actual remaining hand. Reeves, what can I do for you?
Hi. Hopefully I'm not taking too much time away from your work.
Oh no, I could probably use a break before Nara Imove yell at me. What can I do for you?
Alright, so I've been working on a thing for my...
I'm sorry.
I've been working on a thing for my crossbow, and I need some input.
Sure thing. Do you have any diagrams, or did you bring the piece itself?
Both.
Alright,
So, he'll...
1 second, and he just has one of his automatons move things off a side desk for him and gestures for you to lay it out.
Okay, he'll sit down his crossbow, and then he'll open up a rolled up piece of parchment that he had been working on. Okay, so I have an idea of how the mechanism is supposed to work and what its end goal is. However, and there's the diagram of the mechanism, It's like
Mhm.
very detailed in some parts, and then it gets to like the actual sort of triggering things, and it's just like one big sort of question mark, question mark, question mark.
Mhm.
So yeah, it's supposed to, you know, lock in like this, and it's supposed to propel like that.
I see. Kinetic mechanism that takes advantage of the natural torque of crossbow. Not a terrible idea. Reverse engineering some of the tech that you came across in Syndicate, I assume.
Yes, I specifically came across this, and he'll roll up the schematics that he found.
Oh, that sneaky, sneaky boy. Okay. Let's see. I can see why you'd have trouble with some of this. A lot of the core components here are very specialized. Do you have a background in working with automata?
None whatsoever.
Clockwork engineering?
Nothing this small.
Archaeotech?
Cause I'm tight.
That's the correct response.
Not terribly surprising. Usually you don't find these outside of a master's workshop. What you need is a bunch of parts that are both very tall and very small and very resilient and very finely tuned. I like a challenge.
Yeah, this is a little bit beyond my pale. Goblin engineers can do quite a bit of stuff, but in terms of like building small, we're a little behind.
No, I think catapult-based fairies are more up your alley than microkinetics.
Hey,
But-
those catapults are the pride and joy of Triple Ire. I'll have you know.
Yes, they do seem to be very effective for those that don't die on impact. Which is conveniently most of the population of Tripwire, from my understanding. Unfortunately, I am a bit too fragile to ride.
The mortality rate is only 10%. What's the problem?
The mortality rate is only 10% for humans because they're not made of rubber. Goblins ricochet like a shitty fucking physics game.
They have ragdoll physics.
Basically.
Some of them actually have like there is like a
Oh,
specific
yeah, I know.
ancestry.
We were looking at that bouncy goblin.
That's a goblin, yep.
But yes, luckily you happen to know somebody who is very familiar with clockwork engineering and happens to hold a grudge for the same people that you do.
Huzzah! Yeah, you have you had a whole horse made out of cogs, so I figured this would probably be right up your alley.
Don't remind me, I miss that horse.
Jez? Sorry. What's she doing here?
Cornelius.
Cornelius had a mechanical horse.
I know. I was.
I know. But,
Oh, that's funny. I miss that horse. Oh, Cornelius.
I have a couple projects a project I need to wrap up on my end to make things a little bit easier, but once I have that done, I can probably start working on that. A couple of these pieces seem to have a bit varied measurements left on them, so once you finalize that a bit more, let me know and I can probably start fine-tuning those pieces.
Sure. You got any beginner tomes for the specific crafts that you mentioned?
He started laughing and he's like, "Oh, Reeps." He just gestures around him. Remember, I'm useful now. This is the one thing I'm good at.
he just gives Cornelius a big goblin grin, and just says, just give me a short list.
Got it. 1 second. And he grabs a piece of parchment and writes down a couple of series of random, like, 12-digit numbers and hands them over to one of his automatons and says, "Could you be a dear and get those for my friend here?" And after a few minutes, the automata returns with a couple of essentially dummies guides to advanced engineering in all the
Huzzah.
various forms. Well, it sounds like we both have a bit of work ahead of us, but do let me know once you've had any updates.
Will do. You'll be the first to know.
I very much look forward to it. Until then, and he gives you a bow and heads back to his desk.
And scene.
Alright.
Matt.
Yeah.
Vit's next in line. I want Lana to talk to Mbove at some point.
We can probably do that as the last one.
Okay.
Vit, who do you want to talk to next?
I was trying to decide during that one, and I couldn't decide.
Decisions are hard.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out what ones would be, like, important, and which ones can just be done, like, whenever.
Yeah.
Because most of these are just me being hungry
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
and not actually needing to talk to him. Like, the ones that are important are, like, the Brianna one
Yeah.
and the Eadrass one. And those are technically both, like, brain stuff.
Technically, Eadrass is on the outside.
Technically, but still.
Just chilling in the rafters.
Being a bitch!
He isn't causing any problem.
No, he's not.
Just lurking.
Reese did want to reach out to Cornelius about something.
We can do that if you want.
Yeah, we can do that. It'd be really short.
Well, if you want to think on a second person to talk to that's also on the shorter end, we can probably chain combo those.
Kevin can go first while I mull that over.
Okay.
So do we want to do Cornelius, Kevin, and then your final one? Or do you want to do Kevin, then Cornelius, and your final one?
Let Kevin go first.
Okay. So Kevin, you wanted to talk to Amove.
Yeah.
She's probably keeping herself busy in her workshop, which they've set up for her on the new 3rd floor to start dealing with some of the newer additions that have been hanging around a bit longer. You know so far that it looks like Lynn is somewhere on that floor, but you can't find a consistent room for her. Amove's workshop is there, and you know that Argith also has a room there, though people mostly think that room's vacant.
I like the idea of Lynn playing Looney Tunes Magical Doors with the fucking floor.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, she'll kind of just pop in and just kind of knock on the door casually as she just make her way in and go,
Amove, good afternoon.
Oh, hey Lana. Did you need something?
I wouldn't say need something, it's just, well, you're the only person around here that's traveled with, Master, so I just kind of wanted to, come by and just kind of see what that was like, you know.
Oh, right, you were Shen's student, weren't you?
Mm-hmm. He's the one that set me on my, my current path.
Well, that does certainly explain a few things.
Like what? What does it explain? Sorry.
Just you remind me a lot of him, how he used to. Muse, though granted you're a bit more, we'll call it energetic, enthusiastic. More of a roaring bonfire than the what's the proper? This is Matt thinking. More of a roaring bonfire than a quiet little camp light to keep everybody warm and focused on what was ahead.
That seems about right. I'm... He always made teaching and inspiring look real easy, but boy howdy it ain't. I'll tell you that much firsthand.
Yeah, out of all of us, he was probably... Well, let's just say he gave Stray a run for his money in the humble department. Just talking to the guy, you'd have no idea that he could do half the things that he could.
I think he talked about that once. He said something about maintaining appearance or something like that. I don't know.
That sounds about right. He'd talk about everything that he had learned, everything that he had taught. If you weren't listening, it'd sound almost like he was brushing it off. If there wasn't that undertone of how proud he was.
Hmm. Just kind of something that got picked up, huh?
Yeah.
Well, I'm sure you already know this, but I think I just kind of wanted to get it out there anyway that we were able to pick up all of them. I mean, except for Reiner, but Master is here. He's, resting at the moment, but he's here. All except for one R.
She nods her head at that. It sounded like you guys were able to talk to them, at least to some sort of extent.
I mean, pretty much anytime I close my eyes and can think about it real hard, I can talk to the previous version of me. So whenever Master feels like it's time to show up, he'll be the same.
And she just nods her head at that for a moment and says, well, when you get a chance to talk to him again, could you tell him thanks from me?
Gladly. I imagine he'll be pretty happy to know that you're still around, different situation or not.
Yeah, it wasn't like we expected, but we're still holding on here.
Hmm.
Considering how things went, I think we're doing a little better than expected.
I would say so.
The world hasn't fallen apart quite yet, and
Despite its best efforts.
yeah, but I don't know if we would have gotten this far if it wasn't for them, even if they won't admit to it.
Mhm. If you'd be willing sometime, you think you'd be okay with sharing some stories of your travels with them? I'd I'd kind of like to know a little more myself. You know,
She
what?
gives a small nod for a moment and says, "Yeah, that might be nice."
You guys just went through a lot, and the way things ended up never quite sat right with me. And God, especially with everything we learned earlier this week, it's important to know the way people were. You know, I've been thinking about that a lot.
You're not the only one.
Well, I didn't have a whole lot to say. I just wanted to come by and just say what I had to say, and let you know that you know, we're all here, and we care. So thank you, Amove, for letting us even get to this point.
I'm just doing what we set out to do. And I appreciate it, Lana.
Mhm. Let me know if you ever need anything, all right?
She nods and smiles. Will do.
All right. And with that, Lana will step on the way.
Alright. Did you have anything that you wanted to finish on, Vit, or do you need a little more time to think on that and maybe do it solo once you've sorted them out?
I can do a little Cornelius one real quick.
Sure thing.
So,
you can either intercept him or find him in his shop.
okay. Reese is going to find him in a shop after getting some alcohol from Avi. And some cups.
Stumbles into Reeves on his way out.
Yep. Like, just hip checks Reeves in the head or something.
Ow.
Sorry. You're hard to see. I'm very tall. I'm sorry.
Wow.
At least I'm honest.
That's 1 point in your favor.
All the points. God.
Just instantly. Sorry.
You're fine. I'm just pulling your leg. Yeah. Cornelius is in there. He's not too busy.
Oh, good. He's about to be even less busy.
Have fun.
Reese is going to approach Cornelius, set down the cups on the table, and open the bottle.
Oh, aren't I the popular one today? What's the occasion?
Welcome back from a near-death experience.
Hey, I'll take it. And I appreciate the gesture, Reese.
Bottoms up.
Indeed. And he grabs the wine glass with his good arm and takes a sip.
You know, if you
leave
pull
it to one
something...
effects.
Hmm?
What was that?
We talked at the same time.
I know.
You know, if you pull something like that again, I'm not sure I'll be able to forgive you.
Oh, don't worry, I've learned my lesson.
Oh, good.
You know, you guys make playing the hero seem a lot easier than it is.
It's not easy.
Oh, I very much learned that, and he waves at you with the ghost hand.
Yeah.
It's real easy until you have to make the follow-up decision.
Yeah, tell me about it.
But my lack of heroics aside, I think things have turned out rather well. We're no longer being hunted down for at least the time being, though we'll see how long that lasts.
Probably not long.
Oh, I imagine not. Ethos might want the truth, but half the people under him, I'll be frank, they're cunts.
Yeah, I can't say I'm overly fond of Eber right now.
Eber's not exactly great, and if it wasn't for the fact that the sun descended, I'm pretty sure Nara would have taken great pleasure in peeling the limbs off their dear Archmagus.
Yeah, well, I've got a few choice things that I'd like to do when it comes to Eber, involving things that are very sharp.
Oh, I can imagine that that is a very long list of people that you'll be competing with first place for. The man's an impossibly unlikable piece of shit.
Yeah.
Impossibly unlikable.
I'm kind of astounded that he still has his job.
You know, me too. I'm kind of hoping one day Ethos gives him a really, really severe sunburn. Probably not.
One can
though.
only hope.
Is the end of this campaign us gonna be just bayonettaing Eber into the sun?
That'd be funny.
That'd be so good.
It's gonna be that, like, 30-second fucking aura from fucking part 5 of JoJo.
Yeah.
Just
Bang.
everybody takes a turn curb stomping Eber.
Bang, boom, straight into the sun.
And then fucking Ethos fucking Quetzalcoatl drops him out of the sky.
Yes!
Alright. Yes, you were saying?
So, what are you working on back here?
For the time being, making some replacements. Well, I can get by with a little trick here, and he gives you a 5-fingered wave with the ghost hand. It's not exactly practical to keep casting this thing every few minutes.
Yeah, I can't imagine so. It's handy, as it is.
Ha! Well,
Reese takes a drink. That was bad even for me.
well, I do have 2 things working in my favor this time. One, I'm already intimately familiar with building entire bodies out of automata parts, so an arm alone won't be too bad. And 2, I've learned not to put my soul in it this time. So hopefully this one should work without any hitches.
Just your heart.
Hey!
Hey!
Jesus.
Not.
Or a fuck ton of money.
Well, do you need any assistance with that? I'm not really good at clockwork stuff, but I know how to have some goldsmithing skills, some artistry skills that might be of assistance.
I'll let you know once I have the draft laid out. Between you, Mika, and Theoden, I'm sure we'll be able to get it in working order.
I can make it look
In a
fabulous.
snap. Oh, I am most certain you can, and I look forward to having a beautifully gilded hand that I can thrust through Eber's heart.
This is why you're one of my favorites, Cornelius.
He puts his good hand over his chest, and he's like, ah, you wound me.
That was a compliment. Reese's gonna pour him another drink. Yeah, they're just gonna hang out and drink for a bit.
Yeah. You get the sense that A, he was probably already drinking a little, and B, he might still be a little lightheaded from only having one limb.
Oh no!
He's having a good time. He just can't think good.
It's okay. Reese has got you, buddy.
Yeah. But yeah. Did you have anything else you want to talk with him, or just having a little hangout chat?
having a little hangout chat and also offering the arm thing.
Yeah.
There's one other side thing that I was going to talk to you about later, but that was it.
Sure. All right. So I think that is a good place for us to put a pause for tonight then.
I have one more little joke thing.
Oh no.
Sure.
That's all. Lana's eventually gonna be the third person to poke her head into Cornelius's office and be like,
Hey, I feel bad for making fun of you a lot. You know that, like, I like you, right? Like, you're cool. I don't, you know.
Reese and Cornelius sitting there absolutely trashed.
Dear, it's okay. Nobody can make fun of me more than I make fun of myself.
Look, I'm just making sure, cause like I know, like, you know, I just don't want to make things the wrong way. Okay, have fun.
I know it's all in good fun, dear, but I appreciate it. You're a sweetheart.
Okay. Okay.
He says very tipsy.
Reese in the distance sounding slightly intoxicated. That's my sister.
Your sister's wonderful.
I know.
Very strong.
She is. She could kill me very easily.
Well, it's a good thing none of you try to kill each other, because you're exceedingly good at it now.
To be determined.
Reese, aren't you a fucking dragon?
You know, about that, I can't really do it at will. It just kind of... I haven't figured it out yet. One day.
And a magnificent day it'll be.
I was just thinking about that. Like, what
No.
possible reason could Lana have to complete the fucking journey to
Trifecta.
Cornelius's office?
I love how Lana comes in to apologize, and in the end, it's just Reese and Cornelius directly being like, she's amazing.
What a sweetheart. But yeah, I hope you guys had fun with your little NPC adventure with all the dipshits that I've made up.
So many dipshits.
It was everything I hoped it could be.
I'm glad Reese traumatized Lana's siblings.
They have to catch up on all the trauma.
Yeah,
Just right out the gate, I'm a dragon. Lana's like,
They're-
Reese, no.
they're like 3 or 4 arcs behind.
Yeah.
They gotta catch the recap episode.
Yeah.
This is what happens
Yeah.
when you stop reading the manga.
Yeah. Yeah.
This is
it's
like
a shame
that-
you guys. Sorry, go ahead.
It's like that Avatar The Last Airbender, like, recap
Or the
episode.
play.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, the play.
Yeah, it's like that.
Yeah. I just realized it's a shame you guys didn't get a conscription revocation for fucking conscript Harnan. That man's like a level 30 archer by now, probably.
Oh, conscript Harnan.
Who?
The big dick god
Oh,
emperor. He was some
no.
random like baby
I'm gonna
NPC
DM
who
Sam
fucking.
right now and tell her that.
He was some random conscript that rolled like a nat 20 to come like assist
Oh!
during a fight.
That
He showed
fucker.
up and he showed up and fucking critted one of the enemies they were fighting.
No, you made him into a silver knight. Harnan!
I don't know, nobody's confirmed that shit.
There's
Be
no way
real.
to.
I just DM'd Sam and was like, we should have gotten a pardon for conscript Harnan. Ah.
It's okay, guys, gotta break the truce to go kidnap conscript Harden.
He's the new target.
But yeah, I'm gonna be spending part of this weekend finalizing the 6 initial missions I'm gonna give you guys.
Jesus.
3 of them are in the failure window, so if you don't complete them week 1, they fail out.
Wait, 3 of them?
Yes.
Yeah,
We can only
Can't
do
be
2.
Means 2.
can't do them
Yeah. Welcome to fucking Arc 4, bitch.
Ugh.
Pick your poison. Which one can we allow to fail and not feel completely screwed over?
So, I'll give you guys a special preview for showing up to the optional
Ah.
setting. One of the 3 ones that is 1 session, that is 1 week away from failure, so if you don't do it, it fails out, is reconnecting with Shaw and his companion before they get back to the Citadel.
Oh,
Oh,
shit.
God. Ugh.
Because guess what?
The
Guess
Citadel.
what kind of signatures are coming out of the Citadel?
Oh,
Black
bad
Keep.
ones.
Bad ones. Not demons.
Not
Huh?
demons?
Not demons.
What?
What else is a bad thing besides demons?
E-
Bad things?
the, just
The
the
Silver
Silver Order.
Order.
Oh. So they're gonna conscript fucking Shaw. Got it.
The Black Legion's gone, baby.
Damn
only
it.
Silver now.
I was actually talking to Matt a while ago, and I trailed off at some point. I don't remember when. And then I was like, fuck, we should have asked to pardon the fucking Hell Knights. God damn it.
There were a lot of people we should have pardoned, but we weren't thinking at the time.
That was the point, to blitz you guys so you were off guard. And not coming in with like a 30-page like tailored law list of like, well, these are our demands, sir.
Yeah.
Reese did okay in that moment.
Yeah. You guys did pretty good.
It's
I mean,
hard to remember
I
all
mean-
the NPCs.
I mean,
Yep.
if anyone was would bring them up, it would have been Wolf, but
Well, Reese would have, because he had just been like, we should get their supplies because they have stuff that can turn into antimatter swords.
Yep, they have a pretty decent stockpile of raw void steel.
well, the truce
Ready
was nice
spaghetti.
The truce was nice while it lasted.
I was curious how long it was last. My best estimate was like 1 or 2 weeks.
Matt! He's like, not gonna last long.
Just dangling shiny keys in front of the party that says, Ethos says no, we like shiny keys.
Matt's like, look at this truce. Wiffle bats it into the sun. Ping!
Yeah.
Or gives the party temptations to whiffle bat it.
That's exactly it.
Thanks, Matt.
So it's a combination of, well, you have some pretty good bonuses right now from being in the truce. But here's some stuff that'll hurt if you don't break the truce. So which one's more important?
I will say, Reese himself doesn't really care too much about Shaw, but he does care about the Void Steel, which is really fucked up. I don't think he's.
It's literally like the only tool you guys are aware of that can give you even a remote chance of dealing with this on your own.
Yeah.
Well, even if we can't secure the existing supply, if we manage to get Shaw back, then he might be aware of other sources.
I'm scared of what the other two are.
Yes.
If one of them is Shaw, what the fuck are the other two?
I will say, since one of them is Shaw, I'm pretty sure Nathan is going to advocate very hard for that one.
Probably.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I will say it is Shaw and one other member of the Black Legion with him. But it is not